The last time I made a collage was when I was about probably 7, and I think it included pasta and spray paint. No pasta this time, it's a carb-free collage is what this is.
Fearne's appearing on the front cover of Cosmopolitan. So far today, she's had nothing to eat.
I'm gonna be a supermodel.
This will be propped up if anyone wants to try out the theory. If you think,
I've just ordered fish and chips. I feel awful. Can I change my order, please, to lettuce?
Posh says, don't eat fish and chips.
God.
Have a salad and a grape instead.
Fearne is having her makeup done. Instead of breakfast, she's trialling the dictionary distraction technique.
Look what I've just turned to. Hungry.
Oh my God.
That's a sign that I should eat food, surely. This is reverse. This is backfired big time in my face.
Beautiful. Yesterday, and I'm not gonna eat today, and I'm not gonna eat tomorrow, 'cause I'm gonna be a supermodel.
Next up, Radio 1, where Fearne is presenting the chart show with co-host Reggie. The lack of food has started to make her feel tired and distracted.
Listen Sundays from 4 to Radio 1's chart show with Fearne and Reggie.
How are you doing? We'll take that to make it another week at #1. Here we go. Right, 90 calories per one of them.
To stick to the rules of the diet, Fearne can only eat 200 calories all day. That's the equivalent of a bag of crisps and an apple.
That is so miserable.
You only get 3 of them all day.
And a cup of soup, and then a few blueberries, that's it for the day.
Damn.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on women in this day and age to be a certain way. What do you think about really skinny women? Is that something you find attractive?
I like a bit of meat on the bone.
Yeah.
I just like a woman with curves. I like a woman with shape. I like a woman to look womanly. I don't understand why you'd want to look anything else than what is traditionally womanly. Almost all of my friends will say that they like women with curves.
Just 7 minutes in, and Fearne has her first hot food of the day. A 90-calorie soup.
Oh, really hot, but it's really good. I'm so hungry.
Oh, babe, I start to feel bad now.
Yeah, do feel bad. I've done it. Done my cup of soup. So here she is. Let's crack on with the top 20. Rihanna, Rehab, featuring Justin Timberlake.
Baby, baby.
Absolutely rubbish. So hungry.
With only the top 6 left to announce, the lack of food is affecting Fearne's concentration.
Well, you might want the Killers to be #1, but I can tell you now, they're not. Okay, they're going to be coming up in just a bit, just after Beyonce, who is this week's #6, and the Killers are #5. Here we go. I just revealed the number. What one was it? 5 before 6. Just terrible.
Fearne very rarely makes mistakes. So the only thing that I can put it down to is the fact that her mind was on her stomach. It's the sort of thing that never really happens with Cotton, you know? And yeah, I think that really wound her up. And without a doubt, her head was elsewhere, you know?
Quite frankly, today has been hell. I've never not enjoyed work so much, because I just felt like I wasn't putting everything that I could into my job, and I don't like feeling like that. Just weird. Just end up feeling quite emotional and all over the place. I don't know how people go through, I don't know how people go through this every day, living like this. It's just too intense.
Fearne's first experience of crash dieting has proved more difficult than she could ever have imagined.
You know, I'll have times when I think, oh, I'll just eat a bit healthier for you know, a while, or I'll not eat so much chocolate, or not drink so much booze or whatever. But if I slip, it's not the end of the world. Whereas I think if you start creating these harsh boundaries, it starts to play with your head a bit. And that's where I think it gets very dangerous. I think the more time you give it, then the worse and worse it becomes, and you can spiral into something quite different.
For lots of girls, there is no way back. Anorexia is the biggest killer of any mental illness in the UK. 1 in 5 girls who are diagnosed with the condition die. Fearne has been put in touch with a mum and best friend of a girl for whom dieting had the most tragic consequences.
You know, see how anorexia has affected her family and what it was like just, you know, being so close to somebody who, you know, has had it, and quite nervous really, sort of quite anxious about it all.
Sophie was studying animal care at college when she was diagnosed with anorexia at the age of 17. It only took 2 years for Sophie to deteriorate. She died at 19, weighing just 4.5 stone.
Hi, Roz!
Also here is Cassia, Sophie's best friend. She also had anorexia and only sought recovery after Sophie's death.
So you lost Sophie to anorexia. How long ago was it now?
Just over 2 years ago. It was 21st of December 2006.
And how old was she at the time?
She was 19.
19. And, I mean, is there any way of knowing, like, what do you think, is there a trigger or something that happened in her life to make her go down this route, or...?
This is what she told me anyway, that she'd started to lose the weight to get a flat stomach. I think it was the Britney Spears and the low jeans, because she had her belly out, and at that time that was really, really fashionable. And then she found other people were complimenting her on how she looked good because she was slim. And she just felt that she had found something that she could do really well.
Do you think that Sophie ever sort of went on the websites, like the pro-anorexic websites and stuff, for information, or...?
I think she probably did, although obviously she wouldn't have told me about it. And I think once you've got anorexia and you're with other girls, I think they all share information on these websites and tips and things, maybe.
Yeah. Did you sort of talk a lot about... did you go on the websites? Did you chat to Sophie about it at all?
I went on the websites before I went into hospital, before I met Sophie, and I was addicted to the websites.
Really?
You could post up about what your intake was for the day. And
Did you do that?
Yeah, and you can post pictures up of yourself, like ribs and shoulders and things like that. I mean, it was awful, but at the time, it was what I wanted to be like. And these girls would say, I'd say how much I weigh, and they'd say, no, you've got to lose more than that. You can do it, kind of thing.
Isn't it?
It was something that I thought would help me lose weight, and it did. And it nearly killed me.
Do you miss her a lot?
Yeah, because she's really helped me, like, get to where I am now, because I think that without her help, and even though it's such a dreadful thing that's happened, I think that has been my turning point, and I just want to live my life for me as well as for Sophie. So, yeah.
Definitely. Good for you, darling.
Yeah.
So, I'm just so astonished by the speed of how she got ill. So, how long was she just sort of dieting for before it started to get dangerous, do you think?
Probably only about 2 or 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, it couldn't have been more than that, because... You know, I have photographs of her in the August when we went on holiday, and she was perfectly normal. And between the September and November, she'd lost 1.5, 2 stones.
Oh, my goodness.
And she said, well, I do want to get better. So I'd say, well, just eat a bit more food. But then she said, no, I can't. I think she did want... I mean, even on the day she died, she was talking about what she was going to do.
Really?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh, don't be silly. Don't be silly.
She was so bloody ill, she couldn't even lift her head up when she was talking to me, and it's just awful. Can we stop for a minute?
Just the saddest thing ever. It was just incredibly sad meeting her, and scary to know that can happen so quickly, that someone can go from being